What's going on, nerds? Welcome back to Comic Book Nerd Nation, episode number 97. I'm Fox2. We got Topher.
97. Wow.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been like since the 80s that I actually read stuff.
It's been a minute.
That's the podcast count, not the decade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we got the whole F and Brian.
I have no idea.
Everybody, yeah. Fair warning. Everybody's kind of. I don't know if you would call it under the weather, but fall has hit hard, and it's just like cold as hell and rainy, and everybody's got the sniffles and coughing and whatnot. So we'll try to keep it to a minimum, but it's probably going to happen. So yeah, deal with it.
That's what happens when you had a hurricane coming towards you over here in the East Coast.
And it's probably going to be Brian.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. All right, well, let's just jump right in and start the conversation. Let's talk about what we've been reading. We already got word from Topher that he hasn't had a chance to read anything.
I tried. I got the box out. I'm like, I'm going to read Avengers. I'll start with issue 36. That's where I left off. Dig through one box. It ended at 35. The next box started at 38. So somehow I'm missing a couple issues. And then I spent hours organizing my comics so I could find it, and I never did. So I never ended up reading anything.
Ouch.
Great story.
And on to the whole F and Brian.
I read. Yay!
Yay!
You get a gold star this week.
Yay!
We should start a chart. We should start like a fucking elementary school chart. We'll put it like right behind me on the wall or something, and we'll put little gold stickers up each week that we each week that we actually
we'll see who's in the lead. But this week I read Justice League, still on the Dark Side War.
Number 14.
And yeah,
about
44.
what number? Okay, I left off at the end of the Amazo virus storyline.
I think
Dark Side War started on 41.
Yeah,
pretty sure, because that was all the new issues after Convergence. I think started at 41.
Okay,
I think Chris is correct.
So what number? What number should I start over at?
Whatever.
41. Or whatever one you left off at.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think 40 kind of sets it up, and then it goes into the starts like
right into the Dark Side
41.
War. Okay, because I wanted to get back into. I was really liking Justice League, but
Jeff Johns.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I totally interrupted you.
But Dark Side War, him and the Anti-Monitor are going through blows. This issue was actually a big issue. With like, yeah, that's what happens when you're tired. You pause for a second, but it's a big issue. It's a great issue. The storyline has been awesome so far. You know, you have Darkseid coming. You have Anti-Monitor coming to Earth. Darkseid coming. They want to just beat the shit out of each other, basically. And it kind of starts going to answer some of your questions from Forever Evil.
Really?
About time.
Well, not this issue exactly, but they start bringing up the crime syndicate again, and they need Owlman. They need the last surviving members, which is Owlman, Power Girl,
and Superwoman.
Superwoman. That's it. And fucking Dick Superman, Ultraman.
Dick
you don't see them in this
Dick Man.
I mean, he basically was.
He was, yeah. He was a giant cock, not literally or physically, but yeah, I fucking love this storyline. Jeff Johns is awesome on Justice League. Let's hope he doesn't jump off that.
Damn,
and we lose him.
I'm gonna have to seriously go back and catch up on that because it was.
I mean, you're not that behind. That's what's good
maybe
about it.
4 issues, five issues.
But yeah, probably around that.
Something like that.
And then the second book I read was American Vampire, which is fucking awesome. I love American Vampire. Probably one of my favorite, like, not I guess, indie title. I mean, it's Vertigo, DC Vertigo, and it's written by Snyder, but it is pretty awesome. You know, it's up to issue 10 on Second Cycle, which was, I guess, this, I don't know how to, because he has American Vampire, and then it changes to American Vampire Second Cycle, but it's all part of like one ever existing timeline story, and it's pretty. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't know how to explain it except go fucking read it if you need something to read.
Go read it.
Go read it, and that's what I read.
I read. Let's see. I think I'm fully caught up now on the Green Lantern Lost Army stuff. I really am enjoying that. Is
not bad, but they're ending it.
Yeah, I know. That kind of sucks.
What is it?
It really focuses around John Stewart. It's basically like Green Lantern New Guardians. It's
almost the same thing. It's Green Lantern Corps.
Green Lantern Corps.
It's basically the same thing. It follows everybody that the other Green Lantern titles don't follow. Like, it's the rest of the characters in the Green Lantern universe from the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah,
so I don't know what they're going to end up doing after that.
Is there a current story arc that's going on with Hal Jordan in it, or is that?
Yeah, it's Hal Jordan is a renegade now. He doesn't have his ring. Instead, he has Krona, the Mad Guardian's fucking power gauntlet. Gives him.
But what title is that?
That's just Green Lantern.
Really, I haven't seen. Yeah. So I caught up on Lost Army, Green Lantern Lost Army. That's pretty cool. I really like how it is really focusing on John Stewart, and it has a lot of flashbacks to his military days, and kind of it just shows you. It really focuses in on his personality as it relates to his history and his experiences. I like that. And then I read Sinestro 12 and about half of Sinestro number 13. Sinestro is it's a badass storyline. It really, that comic, I haven't read one of them that I didn't like since they came out with it. He's such a fascinating character when done correctly that he has that perfect mix of, it's kind of like Batman almost, where he has that kind of like ruthless but caring but angry, but like a real mix of emotions, I guess, to his personality, which really makes it an interesting character.
Yeah, Sinestro is one of my favorite villains of all time.
Yeah, so that's all I read this week. I didn't read too much, but still more than Topher.
Truth. What's your favorite color, Fox?
Favorite color or favorite Green Lantern color?
No, just your favorite color in general.
Is this a dating game?
I don't know. This is getting kind of weird.
I'm just curious.
I would probably say like blue, maybe.
Really? Okay. I was just curious because it seems like your favorite DC comics are Green Lantern, your favorite Marvel comics are Hulk. I just wondered if you
had a thing for green.
Had a thing for green.
Oh,
curious.
No, I don't. That is kind of strange, I guess. Huh. Although I haven't read Hulk in a long time, other than like going back and reading old Hulk.
The old stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I kind of lost.
Not digging the new shit.
Yeah, just not really digging it as much, honestly.
But you're down with the totally awesome stuff, right?
No, I'm not down.
Collecting all of that.
Really awesome.
Yeah. Variant covers.
I wouldn't buy that for toilet paper. Let's put it that way.
I wouldn't either. I mean,
I don't think I would buy that to start a fire in the middle of the Arctic.
I mean, it would be kind of rough. It probably wouldn't be very absorbent. I don't think it would be effective.
Are we talking about toilet paper?
Yeah.
Yeah, buying any comic is toilet paper, really. I mean,
I don't think I would purchase that knowing that I was like without heat in the middle of the Antarctica. just to burn it to keep warm, I still wouldn't buy it. Because I will not support that at all. It just looks stupid. It looks
I wonder how long it takes
stupid.
for them to like fucking change it back to Bruce Banner.
Fuck if I know. Who knows?
Well, how long did
Because not only are we getting the totally awesome Hulk, but we're also getting the Maestro in that fucking
It's-
contest of
in
Champions comic
all
book.
honesty, it's 60% of what's wrong with that title is the name of the title.
Yeah,
Why would you the totally awesome Hulk?
because
Are you fucking
when I
kidding me?
read the last article I read on it, it's because where Bruce Banner hated becoming the Hulk, Amadeus Cho loves becoming the Hulk.
I think that it sounds like something that like a 1990s Keanu Reeves movie role would come up with.
Whoa, I'm so angry all the time.
Totally
Wild
awesome
stallion.
Hulk, bro.
Whoa, what was
Like,
the-
tell me that that's
Do
not
this
what
for-
that fucking sounds like. Like, you
Oh, it's
can't
totally
convince
awesome
me that that's
Hulk.
not what that sounds like. It's
Yeah, let's
totally
get some
Yeah.
waves.
the only way that they could make it even worse is if it was like the totally bodacious awesome Hulk. Like, that's the only possible way that that could get worse than it already is.
Marvel, if you're listening to us, we want totally awesome company reevaluation, and every book has to be like totally tubular
Yeah,
X-Men.
it has to be like, yeah.
If it
I
doesn't
was just
sound
gonna
like
say
something
tubular.
Bill or Ted would say, then we don't want it.
Do you remember?
the
Was it?
bodacious Avengers.
Was it Super Mario World? Like one of those Super Nintendo games. I think it was one of the Mario ones. Had like a set of bonus stages, and they all had names like Tubular and
Oh my god.
now.
Yeah, but those fit
That
because like
sounds familiar.
I think what you're talking about, it was actually
A
a
tube,
fucking pipe level.
yeah, pipe level. But even so, that was
No,
also
'cause
like
there was-
in the 90s. It's okay to use 90s
Right, and
lingo
that's
and
my
slang
point. Like those were
when
all
you're
like
in the
90s
90s.
words.
But that was fucking 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Don't do it
Well,
anymore.
Cowabunga, Wolverine. Wolverine's
It's just-
Cowabunga Adventures.
Oh,
It's like
God.
you have Michelangelo in
Yeah.
the Ninja Turtles.
Michelangelo becomes the Hulk.
That'd be
I
awesome.
mean, that would be a better storyline, I feel like.
Probably.
read that.
Then the title Totally Awesome Hulk might make sense because that's how that character from the fucking 80s talked. Like that's how
Hulk
he
pizza.
God. Fuck that book. Fuck it. Fuck it right in the
Yeah.
hairy asshole.
Gnarly, tubular, way cool, awesome, groovy, mondo, outrageous, and funky were the special levels.
All
in
of
Mario.
which
Well,
sound like adjectives
that's-
that could be
that's
used
why-
to describe that fucking comic
That's
book.
why Marvel dropped Fantastic Four, because it's going to be the Funky Four next.
the funky Fantastic Four.
the Funky Four.
Fantastical Funky
Oh,
Four.
Fuck.
Sounds like
Ah, shit.
a doo-wop band.
All right.
Oh, how about Groovy Groot?
There you
Groovy
go.
Groot.
There you go.
Radical Rocket.
Oh my god.
The Groovy,
Radical
Groovy
Rocket
Guardians of the
Raccoon.
Galaxy.
Oh,
They're
fuck.
listening to like 80s. Oh wait, they already listened to like 80s and stuff.
Yeah, they already did that in the movie.
Damn it!
Shit.
Now the soundtrack.
Stole my idea.
All right, let's jump over and talk about. We're going to go into the news. There's not a lot of news this week, but this first piece I feel like is something that we can have a discussion about. There's a lot of back and forth conversations between directors and actors and CEOs of movie corporations or of comic book corporations and things like that about what a lot of people are calling superhero fatigue. The idea being that the general public is going to get worn out on comic book movies because they're just pumping them out at such an incredibly fast rate that the thought is kind of like the Western, which used to be insanely popular. It just kind of died off. I mean, what are your guys's what are your thoughts on this?
They're just jealous because superhero movies make the most money.
I mean, do you think that superhero movies are going to be around forever and be as popular as they are now forever, or do you
No,
think that there's
probably
going to be
not.
a time when it?
They're gonna run out of like good storytelling and stuff like that. It'll probably take a long time because, like I said, like there's so many comic book characters you could just make original stories with once you change the character. Like when these characters like they've been saying like this Captain America is the last of a trilogy, a quote unquote trilogy.
Okay.
So, once they maybe like instead of doing Captain America movies, next they'll do like kind of like Bucky movies. And then you'll see Captain America for like every big like scenario movie.
I don't know. What do you think,
Uh,
Topher?
It's hard to say. We talked about this once before, I think, but I, I mean, I can see that, but at the same time, I think at least Marvel has positioned themselves fairly well in that regard, in that they have a slightly more diverse portfolio of movie offerings. Like it's not just, while yes, they're superhero movies, there's some comedy to them, there's some drama to them, there's, the I don't know that superhero movie is like a blanket statement, that can just be dropped on all of them. I mean, you've got Guardians of the Galaxy, which is more of a kind of a grand space journey in the style of Star Wars, like a space adventure, and then you've got like Captain America, which is more of a gritty thriller with a bit of political drama worked in. So I mean,
I would say all of them, even if though I agree that they have multiple genres aspect. I would say all of them to some degree are an action film, though.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like by nature they kind of have to be. But if you think about it, action is one of those genres where people never seem to get tired of turning out in droves to the theater to go see the latest action movie, no matter how terrible it is. We've seen people go out like Michael Bay exists. I mean, that's
touche.
10 points for Topher.
The fact that everyone knows his name means it doesn't matter how terrible you make your action movies. If you keep churning them out with big budgets, people will show up to the theaters, to watch it.
That's a good question. I mean, why are his movies as popular as they are when you don't ever hear anything from anyone good about Michael Bay? Anytime anybody says anything about Michael Bay, it's always about how much they dislike all of his like special effects and over the topness and the noises that are all the same and everything.
How many times have you gone to a movie? How many times have you gone to a movie, walked out, and been like, "Yeah, it was good, but it needed more explosions." Like
That's
pretty much always. You go to a Michael Bay movie, and you're like, "All right, I got the explosions." There's something.
Everything explodes. Somebody could walk up and kick a bale of hay and it would burst into a fiery explosion. Like, wait a minute, what?
There's something gratifying about that. Even like you enjoy it, and then you walk out and you're like, yeah, that was terrible, but at least I got to enjoy all those explosions. You can
remain.
It's almost like an addiction. It's like you want the explosions, you need the explosions. You go everywhere in search of them, and you can't get them, so you go and you get them. And then afterwards, you kind of feel miserable about yourself, because you're like, oh, damn it, I fell off the wagon. I saw another Michael Bay movie. I got my explosion fix, but now it's time to go back to rehab. Can you
imagine what it's like on the set making one of those movies? I mean, I'm just saying it.
You're probably fear for your life.
That's what I'm saying. It would be absolutely horrifying. There's like explosion blast zones like every 4 feet.
But I mean, the superhero movies right now, they've done such a great job of of having a story to them. You know, like you said about action movies. You know, people do turn out for the shitty ones, and the ones that actually have good stories, they're gonna keep doing well. I mean, there are comedy movies that come out all the time that, you know, like as far as genres. I mean, I don't know why superhero movies can't necessarily make the jump to a like an eternal genre. You know, I mean, like I know that people might not always want to see like some caped superhero kind of thing, but I think there's enough variety. Like like, are people tired of comedy movies? No. Are people tired of action movies? And I know these are super genres, but
Yeah.
you know, like you can keep making the same kind of movie, and as long as it's good, people will keep turning out to see it. And you've got the whole thing. It'll be interesting to see whether the the history of the movies works for them or against them. Because for a while, people are going to keep going to see them because you're continuing the storylines that people have been, you know, watching
Yeah.
for the last several years. It's like, you know, like I can't just stop now. Like I want to see what happens to these characters. You know, it would be like stop reading a book series in the middle. You know, you don't want to do that. At the same time, several years from now, you might run into the problem of people who didn't see the first few and, you know, never saw Iron Man maybe, and they're like, okay, why do I care about
They
these
should be
movies?
punched in the gut.
Right. I mean, they should, but you know, eventually you could get to the point where it's like, oh my God, I've never seen any of these movies. I don't know that I want to take the time to watch. Like, I'm not going to watch the new ones because I didn't get into that series when it first started, kind of thing.
Right. I think, in my opinion, I think that a lot of it has to do with how DC develops their movie franchise. I think that it's going to be a necessity for the superhero movie genre, if you will, for it to move on. There needs to be a level of competitiveness, just like any other marketplace in the world, just like any other business structure. They're really, for something to be great, you know, something good cannot have a competitor. But for something to be really, really great and long lasting, it has to have competition. It has to have something that's not only pushing Marvel to be better with each movie and not get complacent because they have a product that's so successful, but also I think it's important for there to be a breadth of uh, of characters. You know, there's so many characters out there right now that are on the DC side of things that are people's favorite characters that just haven't even been looked at yet, really, or put into a movie. You know, Green Lantern being one of them. I mean, yes, there was a Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds. I enjoyed it. Most people did not. It wasn't a
Hold on,
great.
let me take a shit. I could
Yeah,
enjoy that more than
it
Green
wasn't
Lantern.
a great movie, but I'm saying under the current climate of superhero movies, the way that they are now and the caliber that they are, there's nothing for Green Lantern there yet. Obviously, we know that that's coming at some point, but I think it's important that DC really hits the head of the nail with like Batman v Superman and kind of gets that ball rolling. If they fall flat on their face and all the DC movies end up sucking, um, I really don't see the comic book movie genre lasting more than a few more years just because people are going to get tired of watching movies about the same five, six, seven characters over and over and over. Whereas if DC can have movies as well, that gives you a lot of choices. You know, if you want to go see a superhero movie, you can go see a Superman movie, a Batman movie, you can go see a Hulk movie, you can go see a Captain America movie, you can go see a Green Lantern movie, a Wonder Woman movie. You have a lot of different aspects and variety there. So I really feel like it needs to come from DC. DC needs to push the envelope and maybe not push the envelope, but they really need to do better than they've done in the past. and make some really solid movies.
It's interesting that you would mention needing competition, so that it keeps them honest, makes them look better by comparison, whatever. Because I was actually almost thinking along the opposite route of the fact that what makes it sustainable as a genre is the fact that so far everything has been such decent quality.
I'm just
like
afraid that if
with the old westerns, you had like, oh, this got popular, and then everybody started making one, and you've got all these bargain basement studios churning out boatloads of crap, and it waters down the market until it's like, oh my god, I'm tired of this. Like mid '90s or whenever the hell that was. However long ago, there might have been a couple decent, natural disaster movies, but no one cared anymore because there had been so many fucking terrible ones, and so I think part of what has kept the superhero thing going is that so far they've all been pretty damn good movies.
I mean, do you think that
for the
at
most
some
part,
point, if without competition, say DC just bombs on Batman v Superman, which I really don't think they're going to do, but say that that and Suicide Squad are really just terrible movies, and they kind of take a break from it. Do you think at that point that there's a point in time where Marvel gets complacent and realizes, like, hey, people are coming to see these things. They're gonna come to see these things. Maybe we can cut some corners, do this a little quicker, get a couple more movies out per year. I mean, do you see that as a possibility?
The neat thing here, though, is I don't think that they are really competing with DC in this regard. I mean, when you talk about like comics, obviously you've got Marvel, you've got DC, you've got Image, IDW, whatever, name a bunch of the the not big two, and sure, people buy a certain number of comics each week, and most people have a budget, and they're not gonna and so they're in competition over, can we make better books than the other company. I don't really think in the movie space, especially now that the Marvel Studios is kind of has left the Marvel umbrella and is now under Disney. I don't think that they're really directly competing with DC, with Warner Brothers DC movie franchises. I mean, I think the movies are competing in the realm of all movies. When they make a movie, it's not, are people going to want to go see our superhero movies versus DC's? Is our movie going to sell tickets at the box office as opposed to like Jurassic World?
Right.
I mean, like, I think they're stacking up against other movies now. So regardless of how well Superman v Batman or the other movie that you mentioned, Suicide Squad, regardless of how well those do, I think what's going to keep Marvel honest is the fact that to sell movie tickets, wow, extreme close up of Brian's cheek,
yeah,
you have to have a good movie. They're like, DC is a non-entity in terms of this. It's not, I mean, if they make good movies, clearly they're also competing, but I don't think Marvel's looking at DC and as far as Marvel Studios is looking at Warner Brothers DC Pictures and saying, this is our competition. I think they're looking at movies in general and saying, we want to be number one at the box office.
Now, okay, so as it pertains to this discussion and superhero movies, how do you think Star Wars fits into this picture? I mean, obviously we're all Star Wars fans, all three of us that are here, Pirate included, and we're all obviously looking forward to this next movie and think it's going to be the shit. But do you think Star Wars helps or hurts the Marvel DC superhero movies? Because I would classify Star Wars as a superhero style movie. It's sci-fi by nature, but I think in this current movie era, I would say that this really fits more aligned with like the Marvel movies, and especially with Guardians of the Galaxy having the popularity that it had. This is going to be very similar feel I feel like, to Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe less humor, but it's the same concept. It's space travel, it's all of the futuristic weaponry, it's the lasers, it's the it's all that stuff.
Laser beam.
And this is where I, before when I mentioned that Guardians of the Galaxy was very much like a Star Wars, and yet, like Captain America is different, and I think that variety helps them. So in terms of how does Star Wars affect things, I think it helps for a couple reasons. One, because yes, when you actually compare them, how different are Star Wars and Guardians of the Galaxy in terms of genre? They're really not.
No.
But in the eyes of the ticket buying public, they're, like Star Wars isn't a superhero movie. Star Wars is Star Wars. It's a sci-fi
space odyssey.
It's a sci-fi movie. Whereas
Star
Guardians
Wars
of
is
the Galaxy
its own genre now.
I mean,
Basically.
But Star Wars is a sci-fi adventure movie, and Guardians of the Galaxy is a comic book movie. And I think it's going to help because you're going to have other big movies that are doing well. So that when you look back at the last few years of movies, you can say, what were all the great movies? And you're not just naming superhero movies, because when you get to that point, it's like, it seems like everything has been superhero movies. Even if they were good, it's like all you remember are superhero movies. So I think putting out other quality movies that people who would go to superhero movies would also like, that it keeps in their mind the fact that they've had choices throughout the the last few years, and they can go to another superhero movie and it's not going to be the same as the last 5 great movies they went to. Also, especially in terms of Marvel Studios, with Marvel and Star Wars both being under the DC umbrella, I mean,
Disney.
Excuse me. What did I just say? DC?
You just said
really say
with
DC?
Marvel and Star Wars being both under the DC umbrella.
DC, Disney, whatever.
Disney.
These nuts.
Under the Disney umbrella, I think that can only help Marvel, like a good Star Wars movie, because the pressure is on to make a quality Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah.
After trilogies, that studio has been, like there is no budget too big, there is no like detail like that would be too much. Like that there is so much work going into that movie, and so I think
to be perfect.
Disney as a parent company, is learning there. Like here's how much money has to be spent to make a movie good, and appeal to that fan base. Like it's okay to do that, and I think that they've put in enough that now that they can look at Marvel's budget or Marvel's movies and go, we learned some things doing Star Wars. Here are the things you need to keep making these movies at a high quality. I think that quality is going to bleed over, and I don't think they're going to start making shitty Marvel movies. After the parent company has sunk so much time into making sure that the Star Wars side of things has been quality.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. I really think overall, I think it helps. I realize it is really bright in here.
It is really funny, though, that, this whole time we've been saying, well, Marvel's fine. DC, it's going to be interesting to see what they make, because, if Marvel's quality keeps up and DC comes out with a Superman v Batman or a Suicide Squad that's not nearly as good, then it's going to be interesting to see whether they can stay competitive. And I think Marvel will still flourish for years, but
why is it that every time Brian disappears off the call and then comes back in, he's got a different headset on?
There's more of me. I'm duplicating myself.
Something's going
multiple
on.
Man.
I don't know what
Just
the hell.
clones.
Either way, I think that at this point, I think the key is we're not there yet. We're definitely not there yet as a society, as a movie-going culture. We're not tired of superhero movies right now. They're fucking killing it at the box office right now. And I think Star Wars is going to smash every record that has been set Period. All of them. It's going to
And I
smash them
think,
all.
and I think anybody who has stayed with this podcast, not only for the last 45 minutes or however long we've been recording this episode, but also for 97 episodes, I'd say they'd probably agree that you can keep churning out as many as you want, no matter how good or bad they are, and you'll still keep watching.
It's a good
Yep.
point. That's a very good point.
Speaking
right,
of which, I watched that terrible Fantastic Four movie during the week.
Did you
I
really?
still haven't seen that.
Terrible.
I have not. How bad was
Was
it?
it
Talk
that
about it.
bad?
Tell us about it.
So bad. First of all, like the actors don't have chemistry. You could tell. The story was so like it was just so bad. You could tell where all the reshoots were because Kate Mara went from having natural like dirty blonde hair, and then in one scene she'll have like bright blonde hair. We could tell she's wearing a goddamn wig. It was just Doctor Doom was terrible. The Thing was terrible. It's just terrible.
Damn, I kind of
just-
want
Is
to.
anything not terrible?
Terrible.
Was there anything
It is.
good about it at all?
Yeah, it ended.
Damn. Damn.
Oh, you made it all the way through that critique, that review, without using the word poop once.
It was poop. It was a chock full of poop.
Oh, God.
If anybody has a baby in their family, hold up their dirty diaper, and that's Fantastic Four.
How did you really feel about it?
Dude, dang shit. That's what I felt about. It was horrendous. I hated it.
In other news, there's a Watchmen TV show in the works for HBO. Apparently,
Really?
they're talking to Zack Snyder.
Doesn't he have enough on his plate?
I guess not.
Right.
First of all, I really want to know, like, what can they do with the Watchmen for a TV show? Because didn't they do their whole story in that movie? Like, where
Pretty
else can
much.
they go? Is this going to be like, hey, we're going to do this, like, side story that might have happened during,
They could do before Watchmen.
before Watchmen? Whether they, like, not the Watchmen?
I don't know. There's been comic series before Watchmen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that was, like, separate books, which each character. They weren't really combined stories, I don't think.
I don't know. I didn't read them.
It says that it'd be adapting Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons' series in some form to a television series.
So they're going to retell the story? Just in case you forgot about it?
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, but we will have to see. I'm not that excited about this personally, but I guess we'll just have to see how it pans out.
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
not
I
excited.
enjoyed the movie.
There's like 700 other TV shows going on. I don't need another one.
The
Yeah, pretty much.
okay, this is fucking cool. All right, this is probably my favorite thing for this podcast. A company named Extreme Costumes built a 9-foot, 6-inch tall Hulkbuster armor suit.
I saw that the other day. It's pretty fucking neat.
Holy shit.
Took 1,600 hours of work, and it's got the lights, it's got sound, it has a full range of motion.
Can you
This
pee in it?
thing
How does
is
he pee?
Fucking ridiculous. It is incredible. It's bad as fuck. I mean, I don't know what else I could say about this thing other than it is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I saw it the other day or last night while I was
It's
at the
huge.
bar drinking, but don't drink if you're not 21. That's but
What?
how does I would say
Hold on.
Public service announcement.
Yeah, was that just like a random PSA, or did
Yeah.
something happen that primed you to say don't drink if you're not 21?
both.
What
It
happened?
was a public
Come
service
on,
announcement.
come on.
Oh, there's no story. Like I didn't
Oh.
like fall off my ass or anything, and
Well, you're over 21 too, so that's
yeah, dude, I'm over 31. Let's
Yeah.
do time warp again. It's just a PSA. I was telling the kids out there not to drink and drive or do drugs. Eat your vitamins. Take your vegetables. Well, I think I got that confused. But how does the guy get out of there and pee? What does he have to shit really
I don't know,
bad?
but when you look at this thing, it looks like it probably takes a bit.
A couple of
Yeah, it
people.
probably takes several people like an hour or more to put this thing on somebody. I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean, like, awesome. It looks cool. I'd fucking run around in it and chase children.
Okay, see, now how do you go from public service announcements about be good, eat your vegetables to, oh, I'd put on a 9-foot tall fucking scary robot outfit and chase little kids around? What?
Because you're not endangering people. You're just chasing kids for fun.
You're so fucking weird. You're so weird, Brian. I don't even know how to follow that up.
Wait, it shoots real lasers from its eyes?
What?
Yeah, it's got like
Yep.
I mean, not like harmful. I mean, yes, real lasers, but not like melt your face laser beams or some shit. Not like Star Wars.
Freaky laser.
Yeah, not like the Dr. Evil sharks with lasers on their heads.
Lasers.
You
it's probably
totally
just like giant laser
right
pointers.
Topher is completely speechless.
I'm like reading this right up. Oh, there's a video. Holy shit.
Yeah, this thing's bad as hell. The only thing that I don't like about it is that you can see where the guy's face is, just under the chin.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a costume.
Yeah.
It's not like a real.
Oh, this video is 3 minutes long. Fuck this.
That seems excessive.
It does seem excessive. I don't want to watch him make the damn thing. I mean, actually, I kind of do, but I don't want to do it right now. I just want to see the finished product. Where is it?
Dude, just look up a picture. Why'd you have to go for a video?
Yeah, no kidding.
I just Googled it. I didn't.
So the last bit of news this week is that our very own Whole F and Brian is going to be going to the New York Comic-Con next weekend.
I am.
You are.
I am.
I'm jealous.
And he's going to post some pictures, right, Brian?
Yeah, I'll post some pictures of people I want to kick in the face because they're stopping in the middle of the aisle to take a picture
and then
blocking me from getting in there. But I won't really kick them in the face because that would get me kicked out.
I'm sure that we're probably going to have a bunch of news next week and the week after because of New York Comic-Con.
Yeah.
There it is,
dude,
4-day pass.
I'm so excited because all that from Nickelodeon is having a panel. I'm so excited. Not really. I'm just kidding.
And you just can't hide it.
I want to lose control, and I think I like it. Because
Right.
when I lose control, I become the totally awesome Hulk.
Oh. On that note, that'll be about enough for this episode. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Fox 2. We got Topher.
Man, we need Pirate back.
Yeah, he's in Kentucky getting tossed around by steers and cattle.
And the Whole F and Brian.
Yeah.
Steers and cattle.
This is so awkward. You guys make it so awkward when he's not here that I don't even know what to say.
That's what happens when there's no jingles for us to entertain ourselves with.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's one of those things where like he does something and then like I don't know. Like I'm so used to it's now like a triggered response. You're like, oh, that's it. And so now we have and like I'm like instantly ready to copy John. And then when he's not here, it's like, I'm so confused. What do I do right now?
All right. We'll see you guys next week.